Welcome to Korea Spicy Bunny Stories.
He put his hand on my stomach like the decision was already made. Like my body had finally become what he wanted. I looked at the water glass on the table. Then I looked at him. And for 1 second, I understood exactly how much he had lied.
Hello, my spicy bunnies. This story is not just about pregnancy. It is about consent. It is about marriage. And it is about a man who lied for years because he thought the ending would justify everything. Because when someone tells you they had a medical procedure and builds an entire marriage on that lie, that is not a misunderstanding. That is a trap. Let's get into it.
I was never the girl who dreamed about a wedding. I never looked at babies and felt something pull at my heart. That version of me simply did not exist. From the time I was old enough to understand my own life, I knew one thing clearly. I did not want children. Not later. Not someday. Not after meeting the right person. Never. And I was not going to apologize for it. So when I started dating the man who became my husband, I told him early. Before things got serious. Before families got involved. Before anyone could say I had led him on. I don't want kids. He nodded.
I understand.
No, I need you to really understand.
I do.
I'm not changing my mind later. He smiled like I was worrying too much.
I'm not asking you to.
At the time, I believed him. That was my first mistake. We dated for about 2 years before he brought up marriage. Not casually. Seriously?
Let's get married.
I looked at him for a long time. Then I said, no. His face changed.
What?
I told you. I don't want that kind of life.
Marriage doesn't have to mean kids.
It usually does, especially with families.
It won't with us.
I shook my head. If you want marriage, we should break up. He panicked.
No. Don't say that.
I'm serious.
So am I. I just want to be with you.
I stayed. 8 months later, he asked again. Same answer. No. A year after that, he said his parents were asking. That was the 3rd time.
My parents think we should get married.
Then we should stop. He looked hurt.
Why do you always jump to breaking up?
Because I'm not going to become someone's daughter-in-law and baby machine. He got quiet. I thought he finally understood. Then we broke up. A full year. No calls. No checking in. Nothing. And honestly, I should have let it stay that way. We ran into each other again later. It started slowly. A message. A coffee. A dinner. Then somehow we were dating again. This time, when marriage came up, I had conditions. Very clear ones. Your parents need to know.
They do.
No children. Not now. Not later.
I know.
If they expect grandchildren, we do not get married.
They will not.
I'm not negotiating this after the wedding.
You won't have to.
Then 1 month before the wedding, he told me something that changed everything.
I scheduled a vasectomy.
I stared at him. You did?
Yeah, I want you to feel safe.
That sentence stayed with me. Safe. I thought that was love. I thought he had finally chosen our agreement over everyone else's expectations. He went alone. I didn't go with him. Looking back now, I hate that part. But at the time, I had no reason to suspect anything. He came home and said it was done. He rested for 3 days. Moved slowly. Said he was sore. Said sitting felt uncomfortable. I brought him food. I checked on him. I believed the whole thing. Because why would someone fake that? We got married. 8 months. That is how long the marriage lasted before the truth started leaking out. During those months, I reminded him a few times. You should get checked.
I will.
They say you need follow-ups.
I know.
You're sure everything is fine?
Yes.
2 months before everything came out, he came home and said he had been checked.
The doctor confirmed it.
Everything is fine?
Everything is fine.
Then he made some dumb joke about it. I laughed. I actually laughed. I didn't know he was lying to my face again. That is the part one to keep replaying. Not just the big lie, the smaller lies that came after it. The fake recovery, the fake follow-up, the fake reassurance. He watched me relax. He watched me trust him, and he let me. Then I missed my period. At first, I told myself it was stress. My cycles were not always perfect. 1 month passed. Then another. I didn't want to panic because panic made it feel real. So I went to the doctor. I sat in the chair, answered questions, waited. Then she said,
"You're pregnant."
I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, very still, trying to make two facts fit together. My husband had a vasectomy. I was pregnant. Both things could not make sense together. I drove home slowly. My hands were steady, but my mind felt empty. When I got home, he was in the kitchen. I said, "I'm pregnant." He turned around, and instead of confusion, instead of shock, instead of fear, he smiled.
Really?
I stared at him. Then he looked upward.
This must be God's gift.
God's gift. That was what he said. Not how. Not, are you okay? Not, I need to call the doctor. Just God's gift. And something cold moved through me. I asked him directly, "Are you not going to ask me anything?" He looked confused,
Like what?
like how this is possible. He smiled softly.
I trust you.
That should have sounded sweet. It did not, because any man who truly believed he had a vasectomy would have questions. Not because he hated me, not because he didn't trust, because biology would demand an explanation. But he had none. No panic, no confusion, no urgency, just happiness. I said, "I'm not continuing this pregnancy." His smile faded.
Don't say that.
"I'm saying it now so you understand.
Can we just think first?
You need to go to the doctor."
I will.
When?
Soon.
But he did not go. Days passed. He brought it up constantly. Not the appointment. The baby.
I think it might be a girl.
I didn't answer.
She'd probably look like you.
I put my fork down. "Stop," he sighed.
I'm just saying.
"I told you not to get excited." He looked at me like I was being cruel. And that made me angrier than anything, because he was treating my boundaries like a bad mood. About a week later, we were eating dinner. I could barely swallow. He was talking again about names, about timing, about how his parents would react. His parents. That word kept appearing. Finally, I set my chopsticks down. "I need you to be honest with me." He looked up.
What?
"Why aren't you suspicious?" He froze slightly. "You said you trust me. That is not an answer." He stayed quiet. "You supposedly had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant, and you're acting happy." Still quiet. "Have you gone to the doctor?"
No.
"Why not?" He looked down at the table. Then he said it.
Because I didn't have the surgery.
The room went completely quiet. Not dramatic quiet, the kind of quiet where even the refrigerator sound feels loud. I blinked once. What?
I went to the clinic,
He swallowed.
but I got scared. So, I left.
I stared at him. "You told me it was done."
I know.
"You pretended to recover."
I know.
"You told me 2 months ago. The doctor confirmed everything." He did not answer. That was the answer. Then he said something I will never forget.
My parents and I want children.
My parents and I. Not you and I. Not we. My parents and I. That was when I understood who had been in our marriage the whole time. I said, "You told me your parents accepted it."
They tried.
They tried?
They were hoping you'd change your mind.
I almost laughed, hoping. He finally looked at me.
Deciding not to have children because one person doesn't want them is not compromise.
I stared at him. One person? You are talking about my body.
I know.
No, you don't. He leaned forward.
I just wanted us to have a family.
We had an agreement.
Nothing was ever in writing.
That sentence made everything stop inside me. Nothing was ever in writing. That was his defense. Not that he didn't lie. Not that I misunderstood. That I couldn't prove it on paper. I looked at him and said, "You planned for this." He shook his head.
No.
You lied before the wedding.
I was scared.
You faked the recovery.
I didn't know what else to do.
You lied about a follow-up.
I thought maybe things would work out.
Work out for who? He didn't answer. Because we both knew. For him. For his parents. Not for me. Then he did the worst thing he could have done. He stood up slowly from his chair. Then he walked over to me. I stayed completely still. He lowered himself down beside me. Then he knelt next to my chair. My stomach tightened immediately, like my body already knew something was wrong. Then he placed his hand gently against my stomach and leaned his forehead against it, like this was something precious, like the decision had already been made for me, like my body had finally become what he and his family wanted all along. He closed his eyes and said softly,
Maybe this happened for a reason.
I looked down at him, and for 1 second, I did not recognize him anymore. This was the same man who had listened to me say no for years. The same man who watched me walk away from marriage 3 different times. The same man who came back promising he understood me. And now he was kneeling in front of me like he had finally won. I looked at the water glass on the table. Honestly, for 1 second, I wanted to smash it over his head. I was that angry, but instead I picked it up slowly and poured every drop of water directly onto him. The water ran down his hair, his face, his shirt. He stayed frozen there on his knees, completely silent. I put the glass back down carefully. Then I looked him directly in the eyes and said, "This is a fraudulent marriage." He blinked slowly.
What?
You lied about a medical procedure to get me to marry you.
That's not.
Don't. My voice was quiet. That somehow made it worse. You built this marriage on a lie. He started to stand up.
I just wanted.
I know exactly what you wanted. I grabbed my wallet, then my phone, and I'm divorcing you. He followed me to the door.
Please wait.
I kept walking.
Can we talk?
No.
You're upset right now.
That almost made me turn around. Upset? Like this was an argument. Like he forgot to buy milk. Like he didn't fake a medical procedure before marriage. I opened the door. He said,
You're not thinking clearly.
I stopped. Then turned around. I am thinking clearly for the first time in this marriage. He went silent. I walked out. I drove to my parents' house. My mom opened the door. She looked at my face and didn't ask too many questions. She just moved aside.
Come in.
I sat on their couch for a long time. My phone started vibrating almost immediately. Calls, texts, more calls. I turned it off. For the first time in days, there was silence. The next day, I went to work. I don't know how. I just did. I sat at my desk, answered emails, pretended my life had not split open. Around midday, the office phone rang. I picked up. It was my mother-in-law. Her voice was soft. Too soft.
We need to talk.
I closed my eyes for 1 second, then opened them. I'm at work.
This is important.
I said I'm at work.
He told us you're being emotional.
I laughed. Of course he did. Please do not call my office again.
But the baby.
I cut her off. There is no conversation happening through my workplace. She went quiet. Then I said, I will contact you when I am ready, and hung up. My hand stayed on the phone for a moment, not shaking, just still. Because that was the second I realized his family already had their version. He was scared. I was emotional. The baby was a blessing, and the lie, apparently just a detail. I've been thinking about what to call it, because people like to soften things. They say misunderstanding, fear, pressure, family expectations. But I know what happened. He told me he had a vasectomy. He did not. He pretended to recover. He lied again. He claimed a doctor confirmed it. He lied again. He watched me enter marriage under a condition he had never actually met. That is not confusion. That is not poor communication. That is not love. That is a structure built from lies. And he called it marriage. I said no before I ever said yes. More than once. I walked away. I came back only after he promised the one thing that mattered most to me. And that promise was fake. So no, I do not feel guilty. I do not feel cruel. I do not feel like I broke this marriage. He broke it before it even started. I just found out late. I know the next part will be complicated. Lawyers, documents, conversations, questions I do not want to answer. People asking why. People telling me to calm down. People saying marriage is hard. But this is not marriage being hard. This is consent being taken through deception. And I am not going to spend my life with someone who thought my no was just an obstacle. I am not going to raise a child inside a marriage built on fraud. I am not going to sit across from his parents while they pretend this was fate. My body is not their family project. My marriage is not their loophole, and his lie is not my responsibility to repair. The agreement was not written down. Fine, but I remember saying no. He remembers too. That is why he lied. And now I am walking out with the same clarity I had from the beginning. No children, no apologies, no marriage built on a lie.
Bunnies. This one made my skin crawl. Because the scariest part was not just the pregnancy. It was how calm he was when the truth finally came out. Like he thought the lie had already done its job. Like once she was pregnant, the conversation was over. No, that is not love. That is control wearing a wedding ring. So tell me, if someone built an entire marriage on a lie, would you ever be able to forgive it? And don't forget to subscribe for more spicy Korean chaos.